Hi everybody. I'll just wait a few minutes, let a few more people jump on, and I think I see something I need to grab. So I will be right back. I just picked up a fresh cup of coffee. Our kids gave us an amazing coffee maker for Christmas. So, if I didn't have an addiction before Christmas, which you all know I did, I now certainly am addicted to coffee. Even more so. Good morning, everybody. This is Kay Kaltoff. Welcome to a Stampin' Chat with Kay. We're going to dive into the celebration book today for 2020, and we're going to make a couple of cards using the Happy Birthday to You stamp set that's free with a $50 product purchase from Stampin Up. If you don't currently have a Stampin Up demonstrator, please let me know, and I can certainly help you out with that. I have customers all over the country as well as downline members all over the country as well. I'm a purely online demonstrator. I like to work from home, and I stay really busy doing that, but I always make sure that I have my weekends off to spend with family, and we almost always go out of town. We have a cabin, we have a camper, we have a farm that my parents own that we help out a lot with, and then Steve's mother lives out of town too, so I really don't have a lot of time to stamp on weekends, but I love that stamping is my job and that I can do it during the week. So pretty fun. Couldn't do that when I worked a regular 9 to 5. Like anybody works a 9 to 5. It's more like, 7 to 6 or something like that. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Philomena. Hello, Karen. Welcome. It's great to have you here. I'm going to take another sip of coffee here. I just made this. I shouldn't have made it right before I went live. I should have made it like maybe a half hour ago. Oh well. Hello, Nancy. Good morning. Yes, it is so nice. Nancy says it's so nice to have the flexibility. It is. One of the things that I really appreciate. I did used to be a 9 to 5er. I worked as an accountant when I lived down in Dallas, Texas. One of the big oil and gas companies down there. Hello, Yvonne. Nice to have you here. Yeah, you'd think as an accountant there'd be no way I'd ever be interested in artsy stuff, but that's just not true. I've always had an interest in art. In fact, when I go to museums, I just get so caught up, well, especially in art history. I really love seeing the way art has progressed through the centuries, and it's just amazing when you look back at the paintings that were done, like in the 14, 15, 16, 1700s. I mean, they're so well done. Some of them almost look like a photograph. It's really quite remarkable. Hello, Elaine. Good to have you here. Nice to see you. You guys, if you haven't already liked my Stamping to Share page, please go ahead and press that like button. It really helps Facebook know that I'm someone that they should be promoting a little bit when you consider how much time I spend here on this page. It's nice to have Facebook on my side as well. Good morning, Jean. Welcome. Oh, yeah. Good idea to share. Thank you, Trudy. And if you share, of course, that helps more people know about Stampin' Up and Stamping to Share, and that's what we want to do is share. So if you share the video, I'll be giving away 2 cards on Thursday morning, and I will also include 2 yards of the Sparkle Organdy ribbon to go with those cards. Good morning, Connie. Good to see you. Yes, please share. Hello. Oh, it's so nice to see all of you on. All right, well, I have a couple of cards that I got in the mail that I'm going to share with you first. My birthday is this month, and so I'm starting to get a few birthday cards in the mail. I'm a January baby. I was actually supposed to be born in February, but my mother was diabetic, and so they learned from her firstborn that they needed to take those babies out quicker. So back in the 60s, they weren't always sure how to work with diabetic moms. So I was born 3 or 4 weeks early. I can't remember for sure. But I came out healthy and smiling, and all was well. So that was a blessing for my parents, considering the problems they had with their firstborn child. So the first thing I want to do for you today is share a little RAC card. RAC means Random Act of Kindness, and my downline group have a RAC group / birthday card group, and they are very active on there. And it's optional. You don't have to be a part of it if you don't want to. But if you want to be a part of it, we have a special group that is our birthday RAC group. And if you send a RAC card, you can use any stamp sets in your collection, retired or not, as long as they're Stampin' Up. And if you are sending a birthday card, we try to keep those cards current so they can be put on a display board or used for inspiration with current stamp sets. So this first card that I got from Judy Heyman is a RAC card, and it is one that uses a retired set of dies, but then it also uses some retired paper pumpkin kits, because as you know, paper pumpkin gives you a lot of extra supplies, so you can go on and make additional cards, or you can modify those cards or tags, whatever you get in your paper pumpkin kit. So she took some leftovers from a paper pumpkin kit and made this really cute card that says, "It's your day." I think she kind of meant it as a cute little birthday card too, but she sent me 2 cards. So this is the first one with all the paper pumpkin goodies on it. And of course she didn't sign it. She always likes me to be able to reuse the cards that she sends me, which of course I do. So I really appreciate that, Judy. Thank you so much. And she also sent me a regular birthday card, which looks like this, and it's very pretty. It uses the Delightful Day stamp set, which you can also purchase as a bundle and get a really cute tag punch to go with it. So that's always something to consider. If anything comes as a bundle in any of our catalogs, it's a good idea to buy it while it's a bundle, because that only lasts for the catalog season. And then if they choose to keep the stamp set and the punch or the dies in the catalog, they will break the bundle and you have to buy them separately. But if you purchase it as a bundle, you save 10%. So she used the Delightful Day stamp set, which says just a little something for you down here. And then on the inside, it says, "Wishing you a delightful birthday." Very cute. And then she also, you might be noticing this really, really pretty cutout. And that cutout is from our Tasteful Background dies. So that's really pretty. And it's over a panel of layered leaves embossing. So really pretty. You probably can't pick that up so much in the light, but it is definitely a gorgeous card. So thank you so much, Judy. I really appreciate it. The next card I have to share with you that came in the mail is a birthday card that uses something from our celebration catalog. So today on this side we have the Happy Birthday to You stamp set, which I'll be using to make the cards today. But then on the other side we have the, what is it called? The Kerchief all-inclusive card kit, and that is what was used on this card from Brenda Hillard. And so I'm going to share with you what this looks like, and it's stunning. It's stunningly gorgeous. And what I love about it is it's all inclusive, which means the sentiments are included, all of the layers are included. I mean, you can put together 8 cards very quickly, very easily with this card kit. So this is something that is also available with a $50 purchase. And then you can select it as a free item for your celebration item. So we don't just have stamp sets on our celebration offerings. We also have some dies. Those are usually a little more expensive, so they would take a $100 product increment on your order. And then we have all-inclusive kits like I just shared with you, as well as stamp sets. So today I'm going to show you a stamp set, and this is the card we're going to make. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? So it's so pretty. When I was making it, I just kept thinking to myself, oh my goodness, you could use this card for so many more things than just birthday. I think it would be a beautiful wedding card, a beautiful bridal shower card, whatever you would want it to be. Congratulations card. So I am going to, so you could stamp happy birthday on the inside like I did here. But on the cards that I'm going to send you when I do the drawing on Thursday, I'm going to leave them blank so you can do whatever you want with them. You don't necessarily have to do it as a birthday card. All right, so let me go ahead. We're going to flip the camera down and I'm going to share with you how to create these beautiful cards. So again, thank you so much for joining us. And I'd be so happy if you would like my page. Just click the little like button on my Stamping to Share page, or if you could share this video, it would be truly appreciated. So let me flip the camera down and we'll get started. All right, let me grab those cards one more time and I'll show you what they look like. And I have a very good conservative money-saving tip for you if you really want to be conservative with your designer series paper. So the card that you're seeing actually looks like it has quite a bit of designer series paper on it. You see it down here in the bottom, you see it up at the top, and then through the middle we have this lovely layer that includes the sparkle organdy ribbon. But actually, this is a very small piece of designer series paper. It's just that it's been cut apart to make it look bigger on your card. So what I did, just to give you a little inside scoop on this, is I cut the designer paper 3 by 4, which means you'll get 12 pieces of 3 by 4 per sheet. And so a full pack would give you 24 cards. Or in this case, if you're using 2 designs, you'll be able to get 48 cards out of 1 pack of designer series paper using this particular method of making your paper last a little bit longer. And so especially for those really, really pretty papers, it's nice to have a way to stretch that, okay? So let me share with you the paper that I did use, and it's a beautiful set of paper. It's the Parisian Blossoms designer series paper. And for the first time ever, Stampin' Up! Is accenting that paper with a champagne foil, which is beautiful. So if you don't already have the champagne foil, I'd encourage you to get it on your next order. You get 2 sheets for $5, and it is beautiful foil. And it will coordinate with these cards, or with any cards that you make with the Parisian Blossoms specialty designer series paper. And so I'm going to flip through it real quickly. Of course, it has a very noticeable theme from Paris. So here's some beautiful blossoms, and here's the fleur-de-lis. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I'm sure you know what I mean. And then here is some more blossoms. So we'll be using both of the blossoms paper today, and that will be on the giveaway cards that I give away. Then, of course, who doesn't want to travel to Paris? Look at the beautiful suitcases. I mean, even if you never have a chance to go to Paris, you can at least get the stamp set and the bundle, and you can feel like you're there because it just has that, it just exudes that European feeling. And then look at here, all these beautiful words. Oh, so pretty. All accented with that champagne foil. So it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of beautiful paper. All right. So let's do our stamping first. And it's going to be easy to stamp this card because we are going to use the stamparatus. So I do have it set up because I want to do that off camera, because sometimes when I'm setting it up, I have to do it several times to get it just perfect the way I want it. But then once you have it set up, you can stamp again and again and again and have perfect images every time. So I have this set up, and you'll notice that I have my stamps centered more towards the middle, and that is on purpose because Stampin' Up! Designed the stamparatus so that you could take these out and move them down and do what we call hinge stamping, where you can create a design all the way down the side of your paper and have it look exactly perfect. And because that way you can take the plates and you can use different plates, so that if you want to, you can actually purchase extra plates and leave them set up so that when you're ready to make that card, it's already set up for you and you just grab that plate and go with it. This is especially handy if you're doing any traveling. And I love to take my stamping with me when I travel. I don't know about you, but I don't like to go too many days without a stamping project in my hand. So I have this set up, so I'm going to just insert this here. And then I know that I'm going to be using some Whisper White paper. I have this cut at 2 3/4 by 4 inches. This is going to be my main image for my card. And so I'll do 2 of them here so you can get a good idea of how this works. And when I set up my images, I make sure that it's easy for me to figure out where to put this paper. Now, in the past, I have goofed up on camera, so don't be surprised if I goof up again today. It sort of seems to be, me. But we'll try it. And I did do this just before I went live, so I'm pretty sure it's going to work. But, you never know. So I have it so that if you're going at a diagonal, you're going to go 1, 2 squares diagonally, and that is where you're going to put your paper. So I'm just lining it up. So I'm 2 squares diagonally down. Then I can put my magnet right here. That will keep my paper secure. And then as you can see, I can bring it in, and it's going to stamp this 2 3/4 by 4 inch paper perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Tuxedo Memento Black ink pad, because I am going to be using Stampin' Blends to color this. And so the best ink to use with Stampin' Blends, well, seriously, you can use classic ink pads, but in this case I wanted it to be a nice dark looking color to match the dark that we have in the card. So I chose Tuxedo Black ink. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to ink up this stamp. And then we're also going to ink up the sentiment, Celebrate. And then if you're one of my winners, when you receive this card, you can just decide how you want to use the card. So I have it all inked up, and now I just flip it over and press down. Oh, Yvonne is telling me she loves all of the new products. Diana says beautiful colors. Thank you. All right, now I'm going to lift it up, and there it is. Beautiful. I'm going to flip it back down because I want to make sure that T is done a little better. Press again. There we go. And I have a little bit better image on my T. It was a little light before. So there is one perfectly stamped image. Then we're going to take this second one, and again, putting it in the same place. We're going to go ahead and ink this up. And you know what's really nice about using the stamparatus, and now actually is a really good time to get the stamparatus because price point wise, it will enable you to maybe add some dimensionals or something like that, and then you'll be able to get a free $50 celebration item. Okay, so now I've just inked it up. I'm going to bring it down and press it again and lift it up, and it looks great. So there we have our second beautifully stamped image. Okay, so now I'm going to put this aside. I'm just going to put a piece of scrap paper here so that I can close this up. And now what I'm going to do is share with you how to color these stamped images. So here is a stamped image that I stamped in advance so that I can share with you how to do this. So these are all the colors, and yes, it looks like an enormous amount of colors, but it actually goes really quickly. And I'm going to share with you how I do it and in what order I do it, and don't worry, this really won't take as long as it looks. But Stampin' Up! Does not, as of yet, have a Pear Pizzazz Stampin' Duo. And I really like the color of Pear Pizzazz with this particular image because I felt like the Old Olive was too dark. I mean, if you think about it, we have some very light and breezy colors in here with Pool Party, and then of course the Petal Pink, And so I felt like some of the other greens that we have in our blend duos just were going to be not quite right for this image. So I happen to have some Stampin' Right markers, and I just grabbed that Pear Pizzazz, and it was the perfect color. So I'm just going to take the brush end of the Pear Pizzazz marker, and we are going to just lightly, and we want to leave this really open, so there's actually even some white showing. So you're just going to lightly touch on any spots that you want to have a hint of green. And so that is what I'm doing. And I am not worried about filling it all in and making it perfect, because we want this to look really, really light and breezy, because that is just the way this paper is. If you look at this paper, it is very light and breezy, and that's the way you want your image to look next to that paper. All right, so I'm going to hold this up to the camera so you can see that I did not color these leaves perfectly. There's a lot of openness in the leaves, which is what I'm after. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take the Petal Pink Stampin' Blends Duo, and the first color that I'm going to use is the light one. And again, you don't have to color these perfectly, which is really great because it goes super fast that way. So I'm going to color these flowers, and I have the Stampin' Blend really angled, so I'm using the fat end of the brush, or the fat side of the brush, and I'm just adding a little color all around the sides of these leaves. And again, it's really open and light. Then I'm going to take the dark Petal Pink Stampin' Blend. We're going to do the exact same thing, except we're going to focus on the inner set of petals. So again, I'm just going all around that inner set with that darker blend. See, that's all there is to it. We do have some little buds or flower accents here, and so I am going to use the other end of the dark Petal Pink, and I'm just going to color in those accents. So there's only a few of them, so that doesn't take very long either. There we go. I think we got them all. All right. So our flowers are completely done. Super easy, I'm sure. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the cake. And so I have my Pool Party Duo. I'm going to take the light Pool Party. And again, you don't want to make this perfect. So you're just going to lightly touch Pool Party to the cake. And you're just going to go ahead and add that in all over. So you're getting the whole cake. And you can see how very quick and easy this is to do. All right. Then, oh, one more thing. When you have your light Pool Party out, just go ahead and add a little bit of the light Pool Party to the base of the cake stand. You don't want that cake stand just floating out there in thin air. So give it a little something to sit on so it looks like it's grounded. Then take your dark Pool Party, and you're going to take the, what do they call that? It's like the marker side. It's not the brush end. It's more of the fine point end. And all you're going to do is run that along these marks that are in the cake. So super, super simple. I'm adding a few more marks because I messed up there. But it's okay, because these markers are very forgiving and they kind of blend in and make it look like you wanted to do that. Of course I did. All right, then the next thing we're going to do is take two more colors and color our base. And so I at one point I colored the base with the gray granite. Let's see, is this the light or the dark? It's the light gray granite, and it just looked too floaty. Because of all the dark color that we have on this card with the glittered organdy ribbon, the basic black card base, it just didn't look like it was anchored enough. It kind of looked like the cake was going to go floating into outer space. So what you want to do is take the light basic black blend and using the fine point end, and you don't have to, again, you don't want to do this too good. You just want to do a line along here, and don't worry if you can see white spots showing. I'm going to show you how to fix that in a minute. Then again, you're just going to very lightly touch a little bit of black on these accent marks on your cake stand. And that's it. That's all you do with your light basic black. Then you're going to take your gray granite, your light gray granite, and I usually use the brush end for this. I'm going to open this up here. And then what you can do is you can go in up here and just lightly touch up the platter, because that will help smooth that out and make sure that it all looks like it's been filled in. And then you're going to do the same thing down here. You're just going to lightly touch the cake stand, and then that kind of blends it, and it looks really pretty and natural. And then you're done. See, I'll show you how easy this was and how pretty it is to do this with the Stampin' Blends. So pretty. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put this card together. It won't take long from here. We're going to make 2 cards today. And again, I'll do the giveaway on Thursday. So be sure to share this video or comment. Let me know where you're watching from. And maybe let me know if this is on your wish list, yay or nay. I see Diana say she said she really wasn't sure that she wanted this cake, but this card is changing her mind. She loves this card. Yay, good. All right, so we're going to take some basic black cardstock, and we've got this cut at 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4. So I've already gone ahead and done that. So I have my 2 card bases here. Then we're going to do the inside panel first. So I have, these are cut at, what is it? Let me show you. I'll flip it over to the other side. These are cut at 4 by 5 1/4. 2 panels of Pool Party. And then on the other side, I went ahead and I just used a strip of Coordinating Designer Series paper at the bottom. These are 3/4 inches by 4 inches. And I just put that at the very bottom just to give it a little accent, so when you open up the card, there's something in there. And that way, if it's blank, you can choose to use it as a birthday card, or you can use it as a, maybe like a bridal shower card or something like that. So I am going to put some glue on the back here, and we'll set this on the inside panels of our cards. And with glue, it's nice because you can just kind of wiggle it into place. Make sure all your borders are even. And there we go. All right, now let's go ahead and grab those panels. These are the Designer Series paper panels from the Parisian Blossom Specialty Designer Series paper. As I mentioned before in this video, you're going to cut them 3 by 4. Once you have them cut at 3 by 4, you want to take your cutter and cut them in half diagonally. And that is what you're going to glue onto your outside Pool Party panel. So your outside Pool Party panels are cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And we're just going to go ahead and glue these down. So I'm going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue, just a quick line. And we'll set this one up here. Just make sure that it's nice and even with the sides there. And then you're going to do the same thing to the bottom here. So very pretty. All right, and then for the other one, we'll do the exact same thing. This is just a little variation of the panel, or of the flowers that we have. This has a little bit more of the champagne foil in it, which is gorgeous. So when it hits the light, it really shines and it really makes a very visual difference in the card when you're holding it. So here we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the glittered organdy ribbon and we're going to just cut it so that we have enough to flip over on each of these edges. So I've got my scissors here. So we need 4 strips of these. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut all 4 strips here. So we'll need them for both of the cards. And again, this will be the giveaway. So you'll get 2 yards of ribbon when I send out these cards to our winners on Thursday. All right, so then what we do is we just line up the ribbon so that it tucks right next to that designer series paper. And there's 2 ways you could do this. You could fold it over and use Scotch tape, or you can take a sneaky shortcut that I'm going to share with you right now. So this is how I like to do it. For something that's a stiffer ribbon like this, and it doesn't fold as well over the side. So what you're going to do is you're going to take some Scotch tape, and remember, this is going to be hidden because we're putting a front panel on this card. So we are just Scotch taping this ribbon right here. So trust me, this will all make sense in a few minutes once we have this down. So you probably would not have had to cut it quite as long as I did, but that's okay. I wanted a little bit of ribbon to work with here. So now we're going to go to this side and do the exact same thing. So I'm just lining that ribbon up. It's got a really nice edge on it that you can scoot right up to that designer series paper. And then we're just adding some Scotch tape here on the outside. And we should have 1 more piece of ribbon floating around. Here it is. And again, scoot that up to the designer series paper and then put your Scotch tape kind of where that panel is going to be, that front panel. There we go. Now what we're going to do is take the scissors again. We're going to flip it over and we're just going to trim even with our edges. So I will do this very quickly and then I'll flip it back and show you how perfect that looks. And because again, this ribbon is a little bit stiffer, it's going to work well with the card. So here's another panel that we're just going to trim up these edges. There we go. So here's the first one, and here's the second one. Very fun. So there it is, our panels. And if it looks like the ribbon is kind of escaping, just grab a little more Scotch tape and hold it in there. So now I can kind of see where I need to Scotch tape this one more time, just so it holds in there good. Same with this one. I mean, really, you could probably just wrap it around, but anytime you wrap ribbon on an angle, it gets a little more tricky to have it look nice and smooth. And so that is why I'm choosing just to cut it even with that bottom edge, in case you're wondering, what in the world is she doing? There we go. All right, so we have our panels perfect and ready to go. Oh, looks so nice. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our finished, look at here, our beautifully finished, can't even talk, our beautifully finished image panels with the cake and the Celebrate. And we're going to layer them over the top of a panel of basic black. So this panel of basic black is cut 1/4 inch larger than our image panel. So it's 3 by 4 1/4. And because this is Whisper White, I'm not going to use glue. I'm going to use snail. And that's okay. If you prefer to use glue, you can. However, I will warn you that sometimes when you use glue, hold on, I'm going to grab something here so you can see what I'm actually doing. If I can find a piece of paper, here we go. Now you can see how I'm lining this up. If you do use glue, sometimes the glue lines show up. Not right away, but sometimes within a month or two, you'll notice glue lines. So I like to use snail, and then I just hold it on kitty corner, and I just look at those opposite corners, make sure they're lined up, and then pretty much everything else is lined up. Then once you have it on, just flip it over to the back side and burnish it. It's important to use the back side because just in case you'd have something sticky or ink on your hands, then you're not messing up with your pretty colored image. So we're going to do the same thing for this one. We're going to set that onto this piece of basic black. And again, just grab those corners. And then as you're setting it over, look at this corner, this corner. Once they're lined up, the whole thing will be lined up, provided that you cut your edges straight. Burnish it from the back. And now we're going to go ahead and finish assembling this card. Well, I guess I could leave this here. So here's our basic black panel. I'm going to peek inside and see what I've got here at the base. So I've got these bigger open petals, so I'm going to use this one. And I don't like how that one's sitting there. There we go. Now what we want to do is flip this over, and again, now this time we're going to use multi-purpose liquid glue because we don't have to worry about it being whisper white or very vanilla. This is a pool party base, and so it works great. Glue works great on cardstock, the thicker cardstock. Perfect. All right, then we're going to take our second panel and set this on here. So flip it over. We're going to use some glue. And we'll set this on here. Glue gives us just that little bit of wiggle room so we can wiggle it into place, which is one of the reasons I love to use glue. Plus, it holds like nobody's business. Once it's glued down, you're not going to get it up. That's a good thing and a bad thing. All right, then you're going to take your panels, and we're going to flip those over and add some dimensionals. So I'm going to add 5 dimensionals, 1 in each corner, and then 1 through the center. That'll give it enough hold and a little bit of pop. And then we're going to add some rhinestones. Now, I am particularly short of the rhinestones that are colored petal pink. I would like to use petal pink rhinestones, but as most of you know, I have product shares coming up, and I am a little worried that I didn't get enough. I've been getting product share orders, quite a few, even since I sent out the first billing on the 3rd. And so now I'm thinking I need to place another share order to fulfill the rest of them. So I'm desperately lacking on some of my embellishments. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hoover this over, and how am I knowing whether or not this is straight? So what you want to do is you want to look up here in the corner right and in the corner left, you know, upper right, lower left, and you want to fit this in so that it looks pretty even. And that does. Because we're setting this right down in the middle of our card. And so we're going to do the same thing for this one. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing. And Yvonne tells me she loves the Foily Designer Series paper. I do too. It's so beautiful. And Nancy's saying she loves the card layout and ribbon tip. Thank you. All right, so we're going to set this on again. Just make sure that everything is lined up. You want it to be straight on your card. And I'm trying to do a really good job. It's hard with the camera in my... Oh, I think that looks good. It's hard sometimes because I can't put my head under the camera, or you wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. All right, so here we have it. We have 2 cards completed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and then I've got some rhinestones here. Like I said, I would have loved to have used the petal pink rhinestones, but desperately low. So then what we're going to do is grab these rhinestones, and we're going to set them on, one onto each flower. And just that little extra sparkle, oh my goodness, makes such a wonderful difference in the way this card looks. And I'll hold that up to the camera nice and close so you can just get an idea of how pretty that is. So I'm just grabbing a little tiny rhinestone for each one. And then I'd like to hold this up so you can see just how beautiful this really is. Isn't it nice, you guys? So thank you everybody so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate you. And if you haven't checked out my blog, be sure to visit www.stampintoshare.com. I will often put PDFs up there so that you have the PDF, the free PDF I might add, of how to recreate these cards. You guys have a great day and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.